What is going on, guys? I'm Gors here, and welcome back again to another video. And today we are going to be talking about Friday the 13th coming into Dead by Daylight. Guys, before this video begins, be sure to leave a like on today's video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I cover DVD news, updates, and more. We just hit 4.2 thousand subscribers, and I'd love to see some new faces on the channel. So the first bit of news we have here is from a tweet from Friday the 13th, the franchise. Now, this is a Twitter account run by a Friday the 13th news website. This is a really reputable source when it comes to Friday the 13th news. It's been ongoing for a very long time. They posted, soon Jason Voorhees will be added to 2 existing video games. One is pretty obvious if you are following certain accounts online, but what 2 games do you think Jason will take part in? So we already know what the first one, that is what the tweet is referring to. It is referring to Fortnite. We already know that Jason is in fact coming to Fortnite. A lot of Fortnite leakers have been showing this. There's even some items related to it, which I don't know if I can even show that on video, but we know that Jason is coming into Fortnite. So that is the one game that we do know he is coming in. But the second game is still on the table, and many people are speculating that it's either going to be Call of Duty or it's going to be Dead by Daylight. So it's literally between either COD or Dead by Daylight. Now, let's take a moment and just assume here that it is Dead by Daylight. We do know that if it is Dead by Daylight, it will not be coming for at least a year, and the reason why that is because we know that the November chapter, well, I guess now the January chapter, features a killer, 2 survivors, and no map whatsoever. I think that the reason why this definitely would not be Friday the 13th is A, the Jason universe, the new, I guess, reboot of Friday the 13th, we don't really have 2 characters that we can go off of unless they did something original. So we would have to have 2 characters that we don't really know anything about or are just completely new. I don't think that would happen. Additionally, I don't think we would get Jason without Camp Crystal Lake. I feel like Camp Crystal Lake is such an iconic thing with Jason that it'd be weird to have a map that isn't Camp Crystal Lake. It definitely is too soon to get Jason in Dead by Daylight, and by that I mean we don't know how this reboot is quite yet. I mean, we don't even have a physical Jason yet for this reboot. It's all this new Jason design, which I'm pretty sure, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's AI generated. Regardless, a lot of people don't like this Jason design. I'm not completely against it, but you know, I'm not also thrilled about it. I'm much more of a fan of the old Jason zombie designs, especially part 8, the New York one. I think that's my favorite Jason. I found this tweet that I thought was pretty interesting related to Jason in Dead by Daylight. It says here, man, I wonder if since Jason universe version of Jason has a strict set of designs that seemingly all collabs with him is abiding by, if it means that in DVD, he won't be able to have any skins from the movies. So far, every collab we've seen with Jason Universe, including the stuff leaked with Fortnite, has been the new, I guess, AI Jason. I'm just gonna call it AI Jason. I don't even know if it is or not. I don't really care. But this new Jason is the only thing we've seen in every collab. We've also seen it with Halloween Horror Nights with Hollywood and Orlando. So whatever collab we get is most likely going to be just the new Jason. I'm not entirely sure if we would get any old Jason designs. I'm not entirely sure how Jason Universe works. I'm not sure what copyright they have with Jason. The situation, I'm pretty sure, is still messy, but it's definitely usable as compared to the past. I know before it was like Jason couldn't be touched with a 10-foot pole. Now we can use Jason. I'm not too well versed on how the Jason universe legality works. I know it's still kind of a mess, but it's definitely a step up than how it was for the past like 10 years. So I'm not sure if they're able to actually bring in those skins even as alternative cosmetics. That being said, if they are able to, I would really love to see some of the older Jason designs come into the game, even if the main Jason skin in DVD would be this new Jason design. I just would really like the classic skins because I feel like everyone wanted those instead of the new Jason. Plus, Jason just has so much cosmetic potential, it's like actually crazy. I think out of all the killers, Jason probably has like the most, considering he looks different in every single film. So I have no way of verifying this because I guess this is considered a leak, and I don't really like to cover leaks, but there were rumors going that the Jason license was actually rejecting behavior. to get Jason in DBD. And I think that was because there is actually a Jason game being worked on. Now, this is something that we know is happening. We know there's a new Friday the 13th game being made on. I'm pretty sure it's not made by Gun because Gun is making the new Halloween game. But the rumor that was saying that the Jason license holders rejected behavior, they also stated that Jason would be added into Fortnite for Fortnitemares, and obviously that came true. And with them making their own game, I'm wondering if they rejected behavior because I guess they didn't want competition with their new game and Dead by Daylight. Now, I'm probably gonna play the new Friday the 13th game because I love ASIM games, but I think we all know at this point, when you buy these new ASIM games, they're probably gonna be dead in a year or two if they even exist. Almost every new ASIM game that has come out after Dead by Daylight has failed, some better than others, but most of them have failed or have a pretty dead player base. Now, Friday the 13th, it's interesting because it was one of the only ASIMs that was actually somewhat active. That was, of course, before the lawsuit that completely killed the game, but it was one of the only ASIMs, aside from DBD, that was active. Granted, it was never at the scale of DBD as it is today, but it was more active than almost every single ASIM that has come out since. So there is potential that this new Friday the 13th game could do pretty well. And I'm assuming if they're going in with the stance that they don't want competition, they wouldn't want Jason in a game like Dead by Daylight because that would essentially be the same genre of game, an ASIM game, whereas adding them to games like Fortnite and Call of Duty is a completely different genre of game, so it really doesn't matter. When you're playing Jason in something like Call of Duty or Fortnite, it's just a cosmetic as opposed to literally playing as Jason. And I think that's what the thought process is here. So if I had to guess, I think that the second game is probably going to be something like Call of Duty and not Dead by Daylight. Although I am really hopeful that it is Dead by Daylight because I feel like Jason coming in to Fortnite is something that people expected to happen anyways. So I don't know if that entirely makes that leak valid or not. I would be a little surprised due to the fact it seems like that the new Jason universe wants to put Jason on literally everything, so I would be kind of surprised if they would reject behavior, because I feel like that collaboration would be really, really iconic. But again, I understand from their thought process that they don't want competition between the two games if they're working on their own game. I think we're just gonna have to wait and see to find out more information about this, but this is still all interesting nonetheless. So my final prediction here is that Jason is probably not going to come into Dead by Daylight anytime soon. As unfortunate as it sounds, I think that it is true. I think that Jason is not coming into Dead by Daylight. I would love to be proven wrong, as I think Jason coming to DBD would be such a awesome anniversary chapter to get one day, but I'm also going to be brutally honest, with the way that the ASIM games go that try to beat Dead by Daylight, I'm going to assume that the new Friday the 13th game is going to fail, and we're going to see Jason in DBD a couple years after that goes down. That's just my honest opinion. It happened with almost every single ASIM game, and I just don't see that changing for Friday the 13th, even though the previous Friday the 13th game was pretty successful. I'm going to remain hopeful though, because Jason is of course one of the most requested licenses in DBD, aside from FNAF, which we got already. And that's with the lawsuit going on, by the way. So even when Jason was pretty much impossible to get in the Dead by Daylight, he was still one of the most requested. It's definitely a waiting game, because I know the second that Behavior can get their hands on Jason, they are going to add him. He's definitely going to be one of the first killers that they can get in the game as soon as possible. The only other chapter I can see being pushed ahead besides Friday the 13th is a FNAF second chapter. That's literally it. So let me know what you guys think. I'm kind of rambling on here about Friday the 13th, but I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts on this. I don't see it happening. I don't think he's going to come in the Dead by Daylight anytime soon, but we are going to see Jason pop up in a lot of things that aren't ASIM games like Dead by Daylight. We're going to see him in things like Fortnite, you know, Call of Duty, things like that, things that wouldn't take away from the player base of the new Friday the 13th game. Again, I don't really understand it, because personally, I feel like I just play different ASIM games. I don't just play only one, but I might just be in the minority here. I feel like if Jason got added into Dead by Daylight and he also got his own game again, it would just be like 2017 for me again, where I was playing both DBD and Friday the 13th the game. I would pretty much just have two cakes. I feel like that's what most people would do, but maybe I'm wrong here. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to see more news for DBD, I did make a video recently about Danganronpa news for Dead by Daylight. Very interesting stuff. I'll leave a link on a card on the top right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next video. Have a great day, and peace. Bye, guys.